father, that was Bogota made. I do everything big in a big ass way, like I hummus in the booth. Got some play ass ways, I don't fake it, I don't front it. 100% I've been 100. If it ain't about the love, then it gotta be the money. Spent a month in Medellin, they said I came back chubby. Colado was the shit, Envigado really love me. De una, I just wanna show the love back. I know the hood love me, but there's way more than just that. Dollar for a dub set, every night the club had 100 Carol G's, all the homies really love that. Me too, me too. Shit, I'm going right back. Hell, I might just move. Vacaciones en la costa. Guado in my post. I go hard for my city, even harder for my culture.
Ay, 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 parceros, parceros. El parcero ain't checking in. I'm here with my boy, Any Deossa. This is the Parceros Take, episode 44. Named Que Gonorrea. Háblamelo, Andy. Háblamelo.
Parce, hablarlo. No. How's everybody doing, man? We're back. Not under the terms we want to be under.
I want to talk.
Only right to throw this, the day of the game right after. Why not, man? Everybody's
Okay.
feeling. We're here to talk together, man.
Look, I just did after the game, I was pissed. I had a real idea. If you guys didn't see it, it's the one with the TV, papi. Necesitamos un televisor nuevo, especially after these two games.
Nah.
Y la gente me tiraba in the DM, like, yo, y'all need to go live. Y'all need to go live. We need to vent. And to be honest, I didn't want to even talk about it, sobre todo después del partido de Uruguay, pero esto es para ustedes. Let's vent, parceros. Let's vent.
We see the chat is already active, man. On
Uy,
IG,
la gente está activa.
IG, on YouTube, hop in the chat, talk to us. We'll be reading and adding you guys to the conversation, man. So, ser activos, hablemos todos, nos ahogamos aquí un ratico juntos entre familia.
Yo, someone at S207 said, who almost threw their phone at the wall, bro? I almost threw it at the TV, dog. Like, my TV, ahí está mi papá, me dijo, ojo con el televisor, ojo con el televisor. Literal, cálmese, mijo. Bro, talk to me. How did we come out playing? La alineación. Let's start from the beginning.
I thought it was what it needed to be after the first game. I thought the subs made sense, right? They say James was good to go, normal. And then I thought Cordova was always going to get that spot back after he served the suspension for the yellow. One thing I will say that I kind of saw a little bit just looking online after the first game was people talking about Portilla. And honestly, I'm not going to be here and give people thumbs up because they were not two good games. But if there's somebody that was decent, I thought it was Portilla.
Cumplió.
Yeah, cumplió, right?
Cumplió.
And I think that's a more important conversation for a little later of how that works in the process of getting a team together for a World Cup. But yeah, I think they lined up how we would expect it, how we would have thought. Whether or not the players were up to the task, that was one thing. And I thought in the beginning of the game it looked okay against a team that we probably should have dominated if it was 11v11. And then you get that red card and things go south, man. And it's crazy to see. And this is not just a Colombian thing. This is around soccer in general. But it's crazy to see teams go up a man and not be able to figure it out. And I know it's not easy when teams are parking the bus and you concede an early goal, which does not help either. But you had 80 minutes, or not 80 minutes. You concede the goal. You have 80 minutes to respond to that, and then you have an main advantage for however long they had it. What, an hour or plus? It's just inexcusable, man. It's so bad.
¿Qué dice el chat? ¿Qué dice la alineación? What do you guys think? How we came out playing with the only changes were technically Cordova up top and James playing. I thought it was fair. I think it was a fair assessment. I mean, the defense that we got, those are our best defenders. El medio no jugó mal. Córdoba, voy a decir que Córdoba cumplió. Y la razón por la cual digo que Córdoba cumplió es porque, parce, ese gol, que si todo el mundo está, en el chat todo el mundo diciendo Córdoba esto, Córdoba lo otro, Córdoba. Pero, parce, ese gol, ¿qué tal? Nuestros centrales ya son 2 partidos que están los como coladores, weón. ¿Qué pasó, weón? En el gol, no sé si dice como pierde la pelota Ríos, que no tuvo un buen partido al principio, ¿me entendés? Como que perdió la pelota mucho, la está regalando mucho. Primero y segundo, 3 toques de los ecuatorianos, gana la pelota Valencia, y viste cómo sale como carro loco Davinson.
Autopista.
Parce, salió como carro loco Davinson, que no lo entiendo. Se lleva a Davinson y después se lleva a Lucumí, que parce, a Lucumí, ¿cuántas veces no he visto? Ya son cuántos partidos que
El mismo gol de Bolivia.
el mismo gol de Bolivia, el mismo gol que iba a ser el de Uruguay en el primer tiempo, pero tapó Camilo Vargas. Entonces,
Ey, no se le
yo sé
olvide
que
que antes del primer partido yo pedí a Cuesta. A mí Lucumí no es que no me guste, pero parce, me ha mostrado momentos como esos que yo le tengo más confianza a Cuesta, aunque la gente hable de la final de la Copa América, lo que sea, pero parce, cómo se deja ganar así de fácil el
como se,
equipo,
ya
sea
son
uno y
dos,
otro,
tres partidos,
son momentos, son
ya
momentos.
son dos, tres partidos que esa defensa la veo, man, they sloppy. It's sloppy. So I know a lot of people want to talk about Córdoba, but to me is the defense. There's no way he's just running. Obvio que él eres un killer. Le das una,
Una
mete dos.
un golazo.
That should have been a goal. There were three people
Well,
around
the
him.
thing is, there's a few parts of it. First of all, the throwing is like if you have the advantage, why you throwing the ball? Like you have the advantage, don't lose possession off a throwing. That's first of all, that shouldn't happen.
Bro.
Second of all, Richard Rios, probably the worst game I've ever seen him play for Colombia. El tipo no estaba en el partido, and losing the ball that is one way. And he tried to track back, but he didn't track back fully. And
But
that's
he
the thing.
didn't,
Okay, my defenders will take care of this. And then you talk about Davinson running across, and you Lucumile la espalda. Those little things all go in effect. But it's somebody says it, la culpa la tiene Mojica. I don't want to say que la culpa la tiene él, but it's like those are moments that you can't have. A throw in an attacking, I guess, a attacking part of the field that ends up being a counterattack and a goal.
No, para mí, no, para mí. Para mí, yo pienso que Mojica, I mean, he played a player that was wide open. You know what I mean? I can't put it. En Río la votó. Pero de todas maneras, it's 3-4 against 1.
Claro,
Ahí, Davinson, es lo que le hacemos la malicia, parce, le falta malicia porque a él lo tiene que llevar por delante y ya, pum. Free kick, sorry, it's not even a yellow. Si se lo lleva por delante, it's not even yellow. No, parce,
the other thing too is, and this is what we always talk about in terms of games and how things are going, right? You concede an early goal, it's like, okay, that's fine. Like it's not what you want to see, but it was 8 minutes, 9 minutes, whatever the case may be. Like you have a whole game in front of you at home. You're like, cálmese, normal, vamos a buscar ese partido. Like this is not I don't want to say it was the hit that like, oh, it knocked them down a few levels. Si algo lo despierta uno, right? If you concede that goal at that moment, pero then you go into things that happen with the team and the forwards. I mean, listen, we've talked about this over the years con Duan Zapata, con Miguel Ángel Borja, but yo, bro, eso lo meto hasta yo, güey, y yo que no juego delantero, parce. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I was having this conversation with my boys on the side too during the game. Like, a mí no me importa en qué liga juega el jugador, qué pasa. Like, the thing is, ese tipo es goleador allá donde juega, right? Normal. Que la liga no esté buena, lo que sea, I don't care, bro. Ese balón y más, esa jugada, because if you look at the play, how it happened, James had a bad pass before, right? He had a bad pass, and he got lucky that the ball went back his way. Then he lo filtra Mojica like a second chance, but James, being the smart player he is, takes that space. James didn't wait for the pass the second time, and he caught Ecuador off guard. Mojica gives him the flick. It's a beautiful build-up play if you really...
Parce, ese es un golazo, weón. Era un golazo, man.
The energy James had on that play to make that run, to get to the end line, and put the ball where he does, I mean, dog, like, you can't have it any easier than that. And once again, we've talked about this with Zapata. We talked about this with Miguel Ángel Borja. How, parce, un delantero, unfortunately, you're going to be judged off goals better than anything else. And like you said at the top of the show, I'm not going to disagree with you. Córdoba in his fight and his running for the ball and all that stuff, El Cumple in that, I think he does it really well because he's a strong forward and he fights for the ball and he gets into those dirty areas. He obviously causes the red card as well, you know, making that run and the loose ball. But there's no excuse for you not scoring that. Like, there's just nothing. At this point, it's mental. I'm sorry. That's the only, you can't say this is unlucky. Eso ya no es falta de suerte, que falta eso, que falta lo otro. Eso ya es todo mental, parce, para mí. That's how I see it.
Ese ahí, Mateo__ says, Mateo Casierra sería un buen cambio. Papi, of course. To me, they both play in Russia. They both score goals. Casierra was doing well. He scored in and he was actually a starter in a couple of the friendlies. That was one of my take of why isn't Casierra there. if we're putting Mina at number 9, but that's another story. That's another story. As far as Cordova, yes, man. I know I said like at the beginning, I opened up the episode talking about the defense because I feel like there's so many things que Lorenzo has to like fix. And it starts with that, with the mentality. Like, why did we come out playing like that? Why were we getting worked at the beginning before getting scored on? And then we get scored on because lapsos mentales de la defensa. Y después, then we go into the second part that is like, yeah, it's like the confidence of our goal scorers, man. It's like, no entra. Against Uruguay, la de Durán no entró. Esta sí es, like, you can't defend it. You can't defend
se
it.
cayó solo.
You
Like,
can't
se
defend
cayó
it,
él solo.
He tripped on the ball. He tripped on the ball. That's the thing.
The
No.
Daniel Restrepo in the chat that I want to read this international break room in my ear. Parece, yo cumplo años el jueves y me dañaron la semana. Like, me dañaron la semana total, weón. Ese partido me dejó más aburrido que ni me puto. Yo, the only best I've seen that was worse than that was literally the one Zapatas, because I still have that ingrained in my mind.
It's flashbacks. It's straight up flashbacks.
And this goes to a larger issue, and you kind of mentioned this, like, I mean, Colombia's problem has been the same forever. Le falta mucha jerarquía, le falta mucho, like you guys say, esa malicia. Le falta bastante, and it's always been that way, because we want to talk about the Uruguay game a little bit. They bullied us. And that last 30, 40 seconds that we want to forget about, that was just being bullied. That's all that was. You kind of
the whole second half.
The whole game, really.
The whole second half, we got bullied.
And my thing is, once again, nosotros estábamos en un buen nivel después de Copa América, right? You come in, el invicto, que eso, que lo otro, normal. Things in qualifiers are going to happen, que la gente, the teams are going to be up and down. It happens. You go to Bolivia, tough place to win at, as we saw. Paraguay today was down, and then they had a miraculous comeback, whatever. But my thing is this: uno entra pensando like, we could, before the Uruguay game, we could possibly be in first place. We could possibly do this. We could position ourselves for the World Cup, and then you leave with this instead.
Yeah.
What happened in that first game? Normal, and then the mentality. What happened between those games? Because tanto se habla que la mentalidad del equipo, que la familia, que la unión, que eso, que lo otro. I didn't see that today. And Lester Lorenzo could talk about that whatever way he wants to. The players could talk about that whatever way they want to. Eso no se vio reflejado en la cancha hoy. Porque un equipo, that was bad. That was an awful game for Colombia, man.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot because if I'm trying to find like something good in this, de pronto James, pa. De pronto James.
Normal, but for James' standards,
it's what It's what, yeah. To me, I'm thinking of something positive, and I think it is going to be James because que está tocado. No jugó bien entró contra Uruguay en el segundo tiempo. No jugó bien, se notaba que no estaba en ritmo. Pero parce, like I'm talking to like even my dad. My dad's not even a James, you know what I mean? Because my dad's one of those that he likes the ball movement, right? James no se mueve mucho. Hasta mi papá está diciendo, no, que pase sote, mira cómo mueve el balón, one side to the other. Bro, it sucks, man. It sucks because even like that was it, bro. That was it. Ese partido, los dos partidos muy ganables, muy muy ganables. Lucho.
No, espera. Antes de entrar a Lucho, because I want to touch on this one, because Lucho, we have to have a real conversation about.
Yeah, Lucho.
The Cordova Duran conversation was going on in the chat right now, and there's two parts of that, right? First of all, we talked about in the prior episodes que a Cordova lo iban a poner otra vez de titular cuando tenía el chance, porque por la confianza, por generarle esas opciones before he missed the last time he missed a wide open goal. That's the first part. Now you talk about that, la confianza quien va. Number two, Duran can't even play against Brazil. Porque se sacó esa puta amarilla sin tener.
Porque le pegó.
No tenía. And this is the part I understand he's a young player. This is the things that. Bro. These are the things I don't understand about a team that just went to Copa América final. Like esas cosas no pueden pasar. Now it's not a conversation about Cordova Duran for the Brazil game. It's once again Cordova or rrea. Pick your poison, or find me a better forward that Néstor Lorenzo is going to put in there feasibly in that game, because he won't put anybody else there. It's going to be one of those two.
It was going to be Cordova, bro.
Imagínate.
Cordova or rrea. I would bring Casierra. You can't play you can't play Duran, bring Casierra. That's another option, in my opinion. Because other than those two against Brazil, no,
Against on top of that,
it's gotta be a big body. It's gotta be like a Córdoba, bro. Tiene que ir
I know.
Córdoba, pero
Hablemos de Luis Diaz.
hoping that this New Year brings. Man, parece que es que
Nessa
I can't believe it.
Nessa just said it. He's mad that he has to wait till March to play that. Nessa que está muy caliente, ¿no? Pues caliente, imagínese todos los jugadores y los aficionados que tenía mucha esperanza.
That's what he said after the match.
Está muy caliente that he's mad that he has to wait till March to play that game. I'm like,
No, y después del partido de Uruguay que estaba aburrido, ¿viste? No, estaba deprimido que porque los árbitros dejaron que Uruguay hiciera lo que hiciera.
and that's I don't disagree with him in an extent. But
No, bro. That you cannot go. You're just saying excuses.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that I'm not liking, bro. Like,
I wouldn't have said it. I was fine to feel that way. I don't think I would have said it.
No, you can't say that, bro. Especially after eso faltó huevos, weón. Faltó huevos y porque el primer tiempo contra Uruguay estaba bien, jugaron bien.
You know
Ahí lo que fallaron.
You know what I'm starting to think about Néstor right now, and ya estoy montado en el tren, so tranquilos. But I'm starting to think that he almost feels like he can't be very critical of these players, or some of them at least, right? Because they even asked him today about James and about other people, and they asked him about Luis Diaz all the time too. And he's very, I think, hesitant to be critical of some of his players, and that goes back to me about how we always talked about, que es argentino, que es aquel otro, like. That has to start, man. That has to, like, I understand it'd be very hard for a coach like that to bench Luis Diaz. Like, it's very hard for a coach to do that, but it doesn't mean you can't be critical about the way things are working on the team, because there has to be some criticism there.
I got hot take. El que debió salir era Lucho Díaz, no Arias. I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm not.
I was shocked. How you gonna you brought out Arias, bro? Que era el único. He's the one that provides. He was the one that was providing depth on the right side. I get it. You're taking out Arias to bring in Duran, no? Duran, because Quintero went for Rios. Duran, bro. I wouldn't have brought out it should have been Rios for what's it called? No, it should be Duran for Lucho.
And that's the other part to me. Like, I think what he was trying to do, it didn't make too much sense either. Because the sub that he made, if it made sense, he wanted Lucho to stay wide, but it wasn't working. Like, it wasn't. 11v11 hasn't worked for the past like 4 games. Why do you think it's gonna work now? Where we're just crossing the ball. The Quintero sub was very smart to bring Quintero down, and keep the ball, and as you could see, and we all know this about Quintero, él le pone unos balones que como con la mano. But yeah, I mean, at some point, I think Néstor Lorenzo has to be risky enough to say, you know what, Lucho, you're out.
Lucho, papi, this isn't working.
Or James, you know what, we're good. Like, this is a Quintero game, and if it is not a Quintero full 90 minutes, even if we need a sub, we might not even bring you. We might change the scheme up or something. Because to me, and it's what we said about Colombia and Néstor in these past few months, even before Copa America, where's the adaptability? I think, and after Copa America final, we've talked about the subs being a little questionable. I still think he's good with his subs, but I just don't think he changes too much in the way of an approach. So it starts getting predictable.
I don't know, bro. Like, to me, he tried like he brought in Quintero and he brought in Duran. Took out Arias and Rios. Okay.
I think those subs are fine. For the moment.
Even though I feel like I would have left Arias. I would have left Arias a little longer, in my opinion. But then, that's kind of going. It's kind of working, but not really working. The only times it worked is whenever either James or Quintero broke passes, broke lanes, like within the middle. Those little passes, or breaking lanes. That's the only time it worked. Other than that, they were trying to do over the top. We didn't get any of those. But then, it's gridlock again. The element of surprise is done. And then your answer is take out Córdoba and put in Borré.
Yeah, eso sí no me gusta.
Which I like Borré, but if you need a big body, like because did Borré even touch the ball? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Borré, but did he even touch the ball? It wasn't like it had to be. That's why I would have left Arias. I would have left Arias, somebody that could play. I would have even liked Carrascal. You know what I mean? Something different.
I would have. I thought he was going to take Mojica out. I think Mojica.
He took him out in the 92nd minute. In the 92nd.
No puso ni un centro. Like every time he would get the ball, he would just bomb it. Like no puso.
He had one, bro. He had one.
To that point, it's like we talk about all the talent Colombia has, and look at the bench and this and that. Like I think after those initial 2 subs, then it kind of got like, yo, throw it, man. Like throw everything you have at this game. Like there's a moment you can't lose.
Where's Jerry Mina? Bring him Jerry Mina at 9. And I'm just saying, it was a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. No, I didn't lie. Yeah. But still, you know what I mean? It's just that, okay, you were going for the haymaker with the right. They didn't, you know what I mean? Ecuador had an answer for it, blocked it. And then you just, after that, you don't have anything. You just kept throwing the right again. You kept throwing the right. Yeah, like that's on Lorenzo, bro. That's on Mr. Lorenzo.
And there's a comment in the chat that says this, and we go back to the same point. If Cordova scores, we're having a completely different conversation. That's not on Lorenzo. That's on John Cordova. That's not on anybody else. So it's the give and take of, okay, sure, you could always, and you always look at it in retrospect when the game is over. And as a coach, you know you're going to get most of that criticism, and that's fine. Like, that's going to happen because you look at it in reverse. If Cordova scores that goal, this is a whole different podcast we're having. This is a whole different conversation, and we're not really talking about that. Yeah. Sure, there's criticism.
Like,
to be had, pero Cordova
what is it? ET phone home 23 says Gomez going in the 93rd minute, bro. Like
that was pointless. That was pointless. That was super pointless.
And then that's when he took out Mojica. You know what I mean? But yeah, you can go. That's my buddy Quinche. He's Ecuadorian, bro. If you guys want to back on Quinche, el parcero Quinche. No, that's a homie. That's a homie.
Jugaron what a man down. Se lo merecieron. No es por nada, se lo merecieron.
Ahí la parcerita Steffi. Colombia está porque el team que está sal por. Yo pensé, I thought I was watching el Deportivo Cali for a second, bro.
Oh, después de Medellín, la Colombia me tiene la cabeza parce. Gas.
Chill, Graham. Everyone plays Córdoba. What did Lucho do? James didn't do anything.
No, so back to Lucho conversation. What do you think it is? Because obviously we know that he's just trying to take on too much, but I think that it's starting to get to him. I don't know. I think it already got to him. Not starting.
Well, it's in his head, bro. Like
not only is he not passing the ball, when he passes
he's
the ball,
not passing. No,
like a few times that he does pass the ball, they're awful, and then he's trying to take on a shot here and there. Le vi hoy por ahí like maybe 2 or 3 good like moments, and that was that. And for a player that plays at Liverpool the way he does with that, I don't know what it is, energy, with that confidence. Le está pesando la camisa, hermano. And you cannot have one of your, not I want to say one of your biggest players, one of the biggest players in the world, play like that, bro. It just can't happen. It can't happen.
He's our biggest player, man. I don't know. I don't know if we need it. Maybe should he be the false 9?
I wouldn't be mad at
him. Should we put him up there as a false 9? You know what I mean? Like they did in Liverpool. Like something's gotta give. But at the end of the day, I'm like, con la jerarquía que tiene ese man, you shouldn't be like yearning for that goal because it's not even like a pass. You know what I mean? Or like you could tell it's an individual problem, desperation that he's had in his head. I mean, you saw those shots, and one of them, even Quintero was coming in wide open. I don't know if you saw, bro. I don't know if you saw. I had flashbacks to the final. I saw flashbacks. Like, he's coming in. El man le pegó el palo de mango. And then Quintero just like
there, bro, right there. Yeah, it's desperation for me. I think that, and you saw it as the time started going on because I hit you at halftime and I'm like, yo, we're gonna win this in the second half. We're gonna score. We're gonna be fine. But as time started going on, I'm like, they're starting to get desperate. And once again, to the point I made earlier, que tanta la familia que está tan unida. I'm seeing a lot of finger pointing, a lot of complaining, a lot of this, a lot of that between the team on the field. That's desperation because A, things are not going the way they should be. B, you're in a position that you should not be in. And they know that. They're at the level of talent and the level of, I guess, the tournament that just came up for Copa America. They shouldn't be in that position. So it's not just Luis Diaz, man. Like it's a lot of those players that are playing I think, with a little too much desperation. And I want to bring this up. Like, where's the team from Copa America? Where's that confidence? Where's
Our
that
defense, our solid defense, Danny
one thing that stood out
Munoz.
to me, bro, in the Uruguay game was like we played that game completely different than we played the semifinal. Granted, they're not the same
1000%.
stage, but it's like
One
where's
that, and we didn't have James, but even then, we had a good first half.
yeah. And then
We like in Uruguay, we had a good first half, and just like in this match, both teams adjusted and came out better in the second half.
Yeah,
because Uruguay came out better in the second half. In this match, Ecuador, which I was surprised they didn't bring their lines back after the red. They kind of kept playing the same. They had the same playing style, and that's why we were able to go on the attack a little easier. However, second half came around, they adjusted, they took out Ener Valencia, they put 5 in the back, y nos cortaron los espacios.
and that's the thing the chat saying that we haven't really mentioned. Of course, Jefferson Lerma hace mucha falta. But this is once again another point to you can't be reliant on one player.
You can't be relying on James and Lerma.
Impossible. It's impossible to have that.
So that's my question. Like, el descontrol de Davinson y Lukumi es porque no está Lerma?
And to me,
and not to say anything bad against Portilla, because I think cumplió.
Sí.
Y sobre todo en este partido, Portilla cumplió.
My thing, it's twofold. My thing is Lerma not being there is one, and then Rios and Arias not being at the level they were at is two. Like, I don't think either of them were playing at the level that we've seen them play. And then that, of course, now the most important part of your team, which we've talked about, that line of 3 has been the most important part of Colombia. All of a sudden it fell apart, and now you see things like that happen. And it's like we talked like, is there a change for Lerma? I think, like I mentioned, Portilla jugó bien. I think he solidified himself in that group and being able to get the minutes. Castaño still in the mix too. The one thing I will give I'll give Nestor is that he did not let Mateos get on the field, which is super thankful for that. Pero Parece, you can't. I understand Lerma is a huge miss, but you can't look at it that way and just say, "Oh, Lerma wasn't there, so this didn't work out."
Yo,
same thing with somebody said.
Yeah, y tipo se hablé Maluma.
No.
Maluma. Dieguito, que a Cuesta needs to see more playing time. That's something that we. Cuesta needs to see more playing time.
I said it. I think Cuesta had a really, really good Copa America, and of course he got in because Lukumi got hurt, unfortunately. But I thought he was really good in Copa America, y la gente le tira a Cuesta por lo del gol de Lautaro, normal. Pero para mí mostró mucho nivel en Copa América, jugó muy bien al lado de Davinson, pero ¿qué? Lukumi ya van varias veces que lo vacunan de esa misma jugada, y eso parece si los otros equipos están viendo eso, espera que llegue Brasil y hagan esa jugada otra vez a Lukumi.
Papi, ¿vos crees que Vini no lo alarvar mal? O Rodrigo.
Ave María.
Si nos ponemos las pilas, Vini y Rodrigo nos comen. And that's like 3 goals. That's fácil. That's their bread and butter.
Sí.
J. Quintero dice, Lerma es el cerebro de Davinson y Lukumi. Pulucho as striker says, is that Stevens? Manny dice, Luis Díaz no sirve de nada, nadie tiene hambre de gol. Yeah, bro. Más 57 is to blame.
No, empecemos con otra vez.
No, papi, que
and now somebody just said in the chat too, Cabal, bro. After seeing Lukumi have a game like that, Cabal is not even an option no more because of the injury. Like, parece, eso duele.
Bro, it's tough. Lo bueno, hagamos lo bueno, lo malo, lo feo.
Lo bueno no había.
We have to.
Lo bueno que se acabó el partido porque no quería ver más ese puta recocha. No, we want to be honest, to me, lo bueno
el arquero, weón, el arquero de Ecuador.
Ese marica tapó mucho. Lo bueno, to me, if we want to talk about it, es Quintero. Quintero metió ese golazo en el primer partido y por lo menos he got minutes, which he wasn't getting prior. And we know when Quintero has the ball, lo que puede hacer con él. Quintero, me quedo con Quintero porque el resto, no.
Lo bueno que acá, lo bueno. No, sí. Parce, lo bueno, el portero de Ecuador, ¿qué tal la que le sacó a Arias, weón? Las dos que le sacó la que le sacó a Córdoba.
Sí, pero también estamos haciendo figuras de muchos de los arqueros rivales. Ya no es la primera vez.
No, bro, que salió enchufado. Yo digo James, bueno, James cumplió también.
Sí.
Yo que siempre le tiro a James, I'll be saying James this, James that. Parce, James cumplió, weón. James cumplió.
Así que lo bueno, por fin compraré un televisor nuevo.
Sí, facts. Bueno, lo malo,
Lo malo, hijo de puta. Lo malo,
dice la
no,
gente,
lo
lo
malo,
malo.
la mentalidad, parce. La mentalidad in both games, and you saw it two different ways, and that's the part that gets me. La mentalidad en esos últimos 2 minutos con Uruguay que metemos ese gol, empatamos, parce, apague y vámonos, chao. Meta todo el hijo de puta equipo atrás.
Parce, Néstor Lorenzo was still hugging
Right,
with his
right.
assistant, bro.
And
He
and
was
the thing
still
is, the
celebrating, bro.
fact that he said, we know what was going to happen. The long pass was coming. And you see the pass, and you're almost like the second chance, like, I don't, like, people were getting held. It's like, yo, in those moments, you have to do everything. And you just let Uruguay bully you in that moment. Y pasa lo que pasa. And it's not just the loss, it's just a bad look in general because you go from a high to a low. And obviously, shout out to Carlos Andres Gomez getting that goal, first one with La Selección, first time seeing minutes. It's crazy. But then you flip it to a game like today, where it's like you see the mentality lapse in a whole different way, where it's like you're up a man and you're at home. And this is a moment like you have, and then you have the miss, and then you have this, and you have that. And the longer it goes on, you're just like, wow, we're back to this. Like, we thought that this Colombia team after Copa America had kind of forgotten those ways a little bit. And then it brings you back to like, this is what we are, man. Like, this might just be what we are. As sad as it is to say, with this talented group of players that we have, la mentalidad, la jerarquía, así demasiada falta, hermano.
Si le quitamos la pelota parada a Colombia,
Estamos en nada. Estamos en nada.
is this what we are? Without being able to score off set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Lo malo para mí, el Lorenzo, pa. I'm always gonna go at Lorenzo. I'm always gonna go at coach, because in my opinion, he got out smarted in Uruguay in the second half,
Sí.
when the other team is adjusting to your tactics, and you don't adjust back, you don't punch back. And in this particular case, against Ecuador today, they sit back with a man down, and you're not able to break them down. There was no response after. Okay, yeah, you bring in Quintero and Duran, cool. That doesn't work. Now what? Like, there was no strategy to break them down, and that's what a good coach has to do. No. So lo malo, Lorenzo, pa.
And the tough part about that we always talk about with qualifiers is like, now you have this big gap all the way to March. Like, but now this game against Brazil, as if it's not always pressure situation, it's a lot more pressure now. You have a Paraguay team that's coming in hot, like trying to climb the table.
Tied against Bolivia, bro.
So it's like those little things
crazy.
When you look at it, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, Colombia's going to qualify this and that." Like, it's not as easy as it looks right now. And after these two results, it's definitely not as easy as it looks.
Lo feo. Eso era lo malo, lo feo. ¿Qué dice? Wow, lo feo esto. How Lorenzo rebounds from this will determine what we're made of, I think.
Yeah, I think tampoco.
That's scary, man.
Aquí no es falta de jugadores, es falta de mentalidad, respeto por el escudo, and that's what it is. And that's going to be, that kind of goes in terms of lo feo is the game flow, man. Like, the part where I said earlier, why I kind of agree with Nestor about the Uruguay thing, is true, because they have Uruguay and Argentina have a special way of slowing games down and making things kind of flow the way they want with the refs. Why don't we have that? Why are we getting bullied around the field?
Bro.
Why are we
at home, bro? At home.
Lorenzo's turning around to the crowd and telling them to make noise. Why don't, like, once again, this might just be what we are. Like, una falta de pasión, no sé si es una falta de confianza, falta de todo. Falta de goles, obviamente. But to see that moment, and then to see the coach have to turn around and tell the fans to make noise, parece, it's the overall. Lo feo to me is the overall image of what we just made this selección look like in these two games, coming off of a great Copa America. That's lo feo, because it's a nasty looking picture right now.
From going into, and I think, man, it goes beyond. I'm telling you, it is the same little lapses. To mí, lo feo es los lapsos mentales de la defensa. And it started with Bolivia, bro. I know people are like, no, porque jugamos en Bolivia. No, pero es el mismo problema. Como ese, like, that lack of concentration for those 2-3 minutes defensively, bro, especially defensively, that it's like throwing yourself in, Lukumi, or Lavinson going out crazy, boom. Lukumi going like I don't even know where Portilla was right there, because Portilla should have been close to that, but that's another level to me. It's that lack of defensive concentration that en esos 3 minutos que siempre nos pasa, nos hacen 2.
Yeah.
Eso para mí es lo feo. It started in Bolivia. You saw it again. Chile, porque parce, Chile, they didn't go to Barranquilla to play. But I mean, you saw it against Uruguay. Again, the defensive concentration was out of there. And here, in the first 10 minutes of the game, we're getting scored on by one player dribbling 4 people.
Yeah, and you look at moments. Shout out to my boy Jay in the chat. Danny, my favorite. Ese marica no supera lo de Bolivia, so he's loving that you're talking about that.
Oh yeah, no, parce.
The thing to me too, I look at is like en el Valencia jugadorazo, a moment of brilliance right there. El tipo que nos metió el golazo en Bolivia, golazo, moment of brilliance right there. We haven't had any of those individual moments of brilliance really from anybody. Like our star players, like sure we got good James assists, we have set pieces. But we talked about it all Copa America. We definitely were carried over with those set pieces. I didn't see a lot of those open play goals besides that. It's a 5-0, 5-1, whatever game it was that we played against Panama. But falta that game flow. And that goes back to my point of Lorenzo's approach to me almost now. Like if it starts to get this stale going forward again, like you have to find a different alternative. You have to find multiple different alternatives. There's just no excuse. And once again, it falls on coaches, of course, but the players have to take a good look at themselves too. There's no excuse for this to be happening, man. It's just, granted, these are 2 tough games, right? So I also want to say the part of like the overreaction, it's going to be crazy right now because of the moment. Like these are 2 opponents in South America that anybody could lose, right? But then you take a bigger look. I'm talking about the Paraguay-Bolivia game today. In Bolivia, Paraguay's on. They have some moments of brilliance. We could have done that easily. You shoot the ball from the outside, you get a nice shot. We didn't shoot any balls from distance against Bolivia. So it's like you start falling into these traps, like you're saying, those lapses where, sure, maybe you're going to blame it defensively on some players, and that translates. You know what would ease up that defensive pressure? Of Cordoba or any of the forwards score their goals, right? Once again. So it's like this all has such an effect on each other. And that's why I keep bringing up the point.
It's a chain reaction. And at the same time, if we're not losing 1-0 at the first 10 minutes, Cordoba can make that goal. No, it was a lot. It was a lot, man.
Brazil and Uruguay did tie. So por lo menos pasó eso. We'll take that result. Brazil and Uruguay tied 1-1, which is good news for us in the table. Pero Brazil, Paraguay coming up in that March window. We're in 4th with 19 points. Brazil's in 5th with 18 points. Paraguay's in 6th with 17 points.
Say the table again. Say the table.
Right.
So Argentina's in 1st.
Argentina's in 1st with 25 points. Uruguay's in 2nd with 20 points. Ecuador in 3rd with 19. We're in 4th with 19, but nos llevan 2 goles de diferencia. Brazil's in 5th with 18. Paraguay is in 6th with 17. And our 2 next opponents are directly under us, separated by 2 points. So if you want to talk about high-pressure games, we thought these 2 were something serious. Lo que nos viene en marzo es una cosa...
Y Paraguay que está volando, pa. Paraguay is...
And you know Brazil, we always...
Sonadito de perro.
Brazil's going to play as hard like they always do, man.
Yeah. Over there, too. Over there. Nah, bro. Qué estrés. Como nombramos el nombre del episodio, qué gonorrea. Qué gonorrea. Pero listo, parceros. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey, y'all need an event, huh? Yo, I'm surprised.
That's going crazy right now.
Lo que se come. Where are the games in March? En Brasil.
En Brasil y en Barranquilla.
Allá. Y en Barranquilla contra Paraguay. Córdoba is booty. Durán needs to start.
Durán can't start the next game. Don't forget, Durán no puede ir de titular.
Durán can't play next game.
Ahí se las dejo. se la pierde por huevón.
Como dice Made in Colombia, we're 0 for 6.
That's a bad feeling. Even if we take that 1 point from Uruguay, we're still gonna feel like crap today. But that would have helped us a little bit more. That 1 point, obviously. Pero yeah, it's a process. I will say once again on the optimistic side, if you want to look at the optimistic side for some reason, por lo menos he's integrating some players. Portilla, even though we didn't see Gustavo get on the field, he's in the squad, and that's the way I look at it going forward. But the process that was supposed to be 1 foot basically in after this window, vamos a empezar a jugar con miedo. And I don't like the fact that Colombia is going to be playing with that pressure, because if we couldn't handle what we had in these two games in this window, the one in March is going to be high level stress. So hopefully the players do respond, because we keep talking about the same thing. Oh, they have to go through these things para que maduren, para que aprendan. ¿Hasta cuándo pues? ¿Hasta cuándo pues? No hemos pasado momentos como estos que uno ya dice, pues, no, pues imposible.
Hopefully by that time, Lerma, hopefully Yasser, even Sinisterra, hopefully those players that gave us a breath of fresh air are back, man. I mean, it's a lot. Bro, it's a long time.
It's a long time. Injuries happen. People get healthy. People get hurt. De pronto vamos a
aburridos
en la convocatoria, which we've been asking for Kevin Mier. Because another thing I heard before we log off, I heard people talking about Camilo, and I mean, I don't think.
No, papi, Camilo Vargas está cumpliendo.
Like they say, oh, 1 shot, 1 goal. Well, I mean,
no.
Se la dejaron fácil, pero Camilo for me hasn't been bad at all.
It hasn't been bad. Eso es lo que me duele. Marica, eso es lo que me duele. Camilo Vargas está cumpliendo, Quintero está cumpliendo, James está cumpliendo.
Pero hoy, le digo la verdad, no se salva nadie. I'm just gonna say like that. Hoy no se salva nadie. Que alguno que otro jugó normalito, que jugó bien, cumplió. Hoy, lo que vi de Richard Ríos, lo que vi
es mal.
No, parece, de muchos jugadores, Lucumí, hasta Dani Muñoz, hoy no lo vi firme.
No, Dani Muñoz estos últimos 2 partidos, bro, es preocupante, pa, because he was all over again. He was all over. He was all over. I mean, there were talks about him, Dani Muñoz going to Madrid.
Nico, otro Nico, ¿qué más? No, como digo yo, Portilla, yo creo que entre los 2 partidos cumplió su ciclo y lo hizo bien, pero hoy, como un colectivo, parece, no creo que salve a nadie.
No, Portilla jugó
sí, no, Camilo contra Uruguay. Sí, estuvo.
Y Portilla no jugó mal, pero sí, Mojica que practique los centros, ahí tiene Cristian Borja. ¿Cómo no mete a Borja, weón? Era para meter a Borja, weón.
¿Cómo no mete a Borja? Borja que sí cruza de balón en calidad. Mojica, I was telling my boy Jay in the chat, like, every time he got the ball, era pa, afuera. Y yo, marica, pues, si va a tirar un centro así, regálale pues el balón. Si
yo, add me to that chat, bro. Add me to that.
Y yo que salí en el partido es que en la oficina del trabajo. Uy, man.
Oh, yeah, that had to be heated. I forgot. You're on Pacific time. Uy, qué estrés, qué estrés. No, pero ¿qué más dice la gente?
A Lucho le tienen. I'm not going to read that. But it's
funny. Who was that?
It's funny because I made that joke earlier too, but I'm not going to read it out loud though. Chill.
No, relax. Y'all see it.
Lorenzo es demasiado suave. Sometimes the coach necesita sacar el vestuario to wake him up, pero no, ese Lorenzo muy suave. Parce, I see Lorenzo 2 ways. I see that in certain ways, like I mentioned earlier, que I think he has a little bit of hesitation en el momento de criticar a jugadores, a empujarlos, pero también creo que los jugadores confían en él. And this is the part that scares me. In this moment, let's say, I don't want to say we do have this, but if we have a bad window in March, does that locker room start separating? Like we saw that happen last time we lost Ecuador and Uruguay, right?
Bro.
This was a whole different cycle, whole different.
Yo, I said it, bro. I literally said it on the last episode. Flashbacks. The last time we're in this scenario,
yep,
for the Qatar World Cup,
yep,
it started our downfall.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was, I didn't think we would be in this situation, but damn.
Ahí dicen ¿qué más de Lorenzo? Pregunta Lorenzo, ¿por qué borró a Wilmar Barrios? Que sin Lerma cumplía más. Barrios también es un jugador que hace rato no lo vemos pues con la selección. I don't know si está jugando bien en su equipo.
Sí, está jugando. Shoot, I would even bring Cuadrado, bro. I would even bring Cuadra. See, on that scenario, I would like for this particular scenarios that you need players that whatever que se entre or to go up, papi, ponga Cuadrado, weón.
Y
Si
para,
tenemos a Ospina ahí, weón, por experiencia,
no, yo
meta Cuadrado también.
Yo creo que ya Ospina, no, parce, yo creo que ya es hora que Ospina, no, pues hace rato estamos diciendo lo mismo que Ospina, que Mateo,
Ospina,
jugadores que están en cupos que no deben estar y que otros jugadores pueden estar por lo menos en el proceso y van a seguir en el ciclo y van a seguir pues con el equipo, pero...
Uy, hot take by Johan, la pelota parada nos hizo creer que Lorenzo era buen técnico, la realidad es que Lorenzo no tiene nada de la estrategia. Uy.
I'm not mad at that because I said this during Copa
That's
America.
a very Peckerman comment though, right?
Yeah, I said...
Es a lo Peckerman, pa. That's what I used to say about Peckerman.
Porque Colombia no ha mostrado mucho de open play, de que que medio campo, que los delanteros, like we haven't shown much of that. Es, vea, James, be brilliant, como un 10, filtra los balones, haga sus cosas, but the reason why our forwards are not looking good is because they're not getting these moments. And then when they do get the very rare opportunities that they get these moments, the way Córdoba did, se caen. So se caen solos, you know what I mean? And so I don't disagree with that, and I think that's starting to come to light more, que la estrategia de Lorenzo, yo creo que es buen técnico, pero hay que encontrar maneras de abrir el partido y enfrentarlo de otra manera. And he hasn't been doing that lately. And once again, si Córdoba mete ese gol, de pronto también tapa eso, that we say la estrategia no está ahí, pero the same way que criticamos al entrenador, hay que criticar a los jugadores. Los jugadores no están cumpliendo. Y eso es así. Obviamente el entrenador, el técnico, que eso que el otro, normal. Eso siempre va a pasar. Pero que un jugador de la talla de Córdoba o de la talla de Zapata en su momento que estaba en Atalanta metiendo goles con ojos cerrados, de Miguel Ángel Borja que era goleador de Libertadores y esto que el otro, imposible que jugadores de esa talla no cumplan con un Ejuputarco ahí solo y no la puedan meter, hermano. Es que eso ya es pasando de descarado. Eso no es nada de suerte ni nada de mentalidad. Eso ya es pasando de descarado.
Esta fue que peor que la de Duan. Que están hablando de Duan.
No, pero la de Duan nos dejó sin mundial, ojalá.
No, yo creo que esta fue peor. Yo creo que esta fue peor.
Pero la de Duan nos dejó sin mundial.
Pero Duan, aunque sea, le pegó al arquero, pa.
Pero ese güey puta, ¿cómo no metes, hermano?
Duan went straight to the keep. This one, like, he tripped on the ball. He tripped on the ball while kicking it forward.
Qué pena, parce. Ush, no.
Oh, mentira, but anyways, parceros. Bueno, I'm glad you guys, we gave you all an avenue, a space so you guys can vent. This is what Parceros Take is all about. I appreciate Andy for sticking around, especially after you just got back home from
work, man. I was watching the game at work just like that. I got home, I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, for me. I appreciate Jay. I appreciate everybody that stuck around, that helped us vent.
Uy,
que llamen al Chino Sandoval, pa.
No.
A Dairo y a Teo.
Nico Borrao. Nico Borrao.
A Chateo, pa, a Chateo. Yeah, bro. Hey,
lo bueno es que si los colombianos hay que preocuparse por fútbol. Y si sos hincha de Medellín, hasta menos. Diciembre, disfrute con la familia, disfrute con la gente que amas. Tomé aguardiente, coma buñuelos, porque de fútbol ya que no me hablen hasta hijo de puta, hasta sí, como febrero.
Y yo el Cali solo para la feria y ya, pa. Pero para la B nunca nos van a defender como los de la B. No, mentiras, parcero, el parcero Dani, el parcero Andy, la reona parcero, saludes. Thank you for joining us.
Dios lo bendiga.
Till next time.